know, this is the DingoTalk Alumni Tour. My guest this week is Ashley Narigon, class of 2019. She's going to talk about her journey and how she got to Bethany. She's going to promote a fellow Bethanian. And speaking of a fellow Bethanian, congratulations, KJ, on the engagement. But without further ado, this is Ashley Narigon. What's going on, Chuckleheads? I am Carlo Guadagnino. This is the DingoTalk Alumni Tour. My guest this week is Ashley Narigon, class of 2019. Here's your tea.
Thank you. Turners, sponsor us, sponsor DingoTalk. You know we love it.
Listen to what she has to say.
We know you love this.
We're going to do the same thing we do every week. Ashley's going to sit here. She's going to tell us about how she ended up at Bethany, because you did not come in as a freshman.
No.
How she ended up at Bethany, where she was before Bethany, some of her Bethany experiences. We'll take a break, send it to KJ, come back, and then it'll be everything.
KJ.
Maybe we'll do a little comps after that. Okay. We'll figure out somewhere. We'll figure out where it goes.
Whatever we want to do.
So, McGuffey, right?
Yep.
And there was a stop in between Bethany and there.
Yes, there was two stops actually. There was right after I graduated, I went to Cal U, and I actually didn't really know where I really wanted to go. I think I started applying to colleges my sophomore, junior year, and then obviously, you know, like in high school, juniors, or you can't get recruited until your junior year. So I was kind of late to everything, but it kind of like played a part in going to McGuffey, like why I was so late. And one of your previous stars, Cassie Weiss, who's actually here with me today, she went to McGuffey as well. And she can vouch that like if it was just up to the McGuffey coaches and the, you know, athletic director and stuff, you wouldn't get recruited out of there. It's just not softball anyway. It's just, I don't know why, it's just the way that it rolls, and it is what it is.
Well, and you bring up the Cassie's here, so we should expect, and everybody at home should expect, you know, what happened during her show. So just if there's any interruptions or anything, you just roll through it. She's here, and
we know why.
You know, it's we got a basketball star and a softball star in the audience today, so they're both from the same family.
I know. Are we lucky?
So barring the coaching staff and the athletic directors not kind of being proactive for softball, which is a whole nother story that we're not going to get into.
Great.
But so how did you go about the recruiting process then? Was it because of like travel ball that you got some? Okay, so let's.
Yeah, so my 8th grade year, I started, it was called the Pittsburgh Power, and it's kind of like based out of Warrendale area, Wexford. Okay. But I started there in 8th grade, tried out. Got on a team. My team sucked. I mean, it was bad. We seriously maybe like won 1 to 2 games a tournament that we were in. I mean, it was really, really bad.
That's a rough
go. But I mean, at the same time, it was kind of where everyone was going in their first year. Nobody knew each other. Nobody knew how each other worked. And, you know, we were from all over the place. But after that year, I had switched and got kind of, I don't want to say recruited, but switched to a different team. Recruited by a different coach, and from there on it was kind of like I was on really good winning teams with a lot of other. It's kind of cool because like at the time you're like, you know, where do you guys go to high school, and you don't know where that is, but then like you get to college and you're like, oh yeah, I know exactly where that is. I played school with this person at, you know, this school. But so I had played Pittsburgh Power for I don't know, maybe like 6 to 8 years. I don't really remember. But through them, we actually had different showcases that you could try out for. And to make the showcase team, it was you go in as an individual, and then once you're there, you're put on a team. So you play a couple games as a team against other people, and then college coaches come down and see, you know, how you are.
But it's even a step of like, so you were saying how when you got to the Pittsburgh Power, it's not people that you were used to.
Oh yeah, no, I had no idea.
And then you get to this showcase, and it's even more of this hodgepodge of
you're playing with the best of the best.
Okay.
Yeah, so these people were picked from all over the place, all over the U.S. to come play. I actually had a couple girls. Who.
This is part of the show. They're used to me staring awkwardly at people.
All right, I just wasn't sure. But we were like, I don't know, one of the girls, it actually is really funny. One of the girls ended up being a coach at Bethany, and it was Kristen Proko. So back whenever I was a senior, I was chosen to go down to North Carolina to be in one of these showcases, which I had already picked a school, but I was like, I'm still going down, and show kind of like a show off type thing, which I know that sounds conceited, but it is what it is. Whenever you're trying to go to school and trying to get money off your school, so I went down.
Shit ain't cheap.
No. So I go down. I play on these different teams, and I actually did really, really bad my first day. On my first game, I did terrible. But then the second, I think it was the beginning of the second day, it was kind of like individual stuff, and you just showed, show what you got, and it was what it was, and I did pretty well in that. And then the next 2 games we played, I did really, really good. But actually, before I decided to go to Cal, I was talking down at that showcase with, the previous showcase I was at, with IUP, Seton Hill, and I think Grove City was maybe my last one.
So Bethany's not even, not even on the radar?
Nope. Right. I didn't even know what Bethany was.
Most of us didn't.
Yes. So I end up going to see all these schools. Didn't really like them. I go to see IUP, and I was like, I can kind of see myself here. This is kind of dope here. Like, they have a lot of cool stuff around. Their campus is huge. They have a lot of cool restaurants and, blah, blah, blah. I ended up getting a full ride offer to go there. And I don't know why I just decided to turn it down.
Said, no, I'm cool.
Well, at the time, I was like, I don't want to leave home. I was so scared. I don't want to go to college yet. Like, I don't want to be too far away from my mom.
Like previous guests that I've had, that you and Cassie Weiss with your tattoos were the most intimidating thing that they had ever seen.
Yes.
We'll get to that, Fran, Chop.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got that a lot. I still do. Oh, God. I almost just broke that.
No, it happens. We're working on a budget here.
No, it's cool. I thought I was putting too much, onto it. But yeah, so I just kind of went with the flow, and then for some reason I loved Cal. It was only 30 minutes from my house.
So you're far enough away, but still.
Yep. I went and I talked to the coach, and he was like, listen, I might be able to work something out for you. I might be able to pull up some money for you, but like, I really don't know. And
it's good to be honest.
Yeah, and he was like, be honest with me too. Like, are you still interested? So my dad was there with me that day, and I walked up to him and I was like, listen, this is like a whole bargaining thing. I just don't know what to do. I was like, whatever you tell me what to do, I'll decide. Like, that's what I'll go with. Mm-hmm. He was like, heck yeah, do it. He was like, tell him go ahead and look into it. So I was like, okay. So I said, yeah, like, that's fine. Go ahead and look into it. See what you can get me. He ends up being able to get me nothing. But I was like, oh, I love Cal. Blah, blah, blah.
We're going to play.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it was, I'm trying to think. I played school against this one girl at, oh, help me out here, Cass. Lindsay, where'd she go to school? Radical.
Shar Valley.
Shar Valley, that's it. So she was, they're good at a lot of things. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm kind of like nervous. I'm moving in with a stud pitcher. But we ended up being, talking beforehand, being real cool. And once we moved in, we became really good friends. But it was, I'm trying to think, with fall ball and all falls, or with spring sports, you have a fall ball.
Yeah.
So we had a couple days where we could go out to the field and pretty much practice on our own before we got to our real fall ball practice. So it was like the last day that we were there on our own, and Lindsay and I, my roommate, we were just throwing and doing a couple things. Well, a lot of people showed up, and we were like, do you guys just want to do like an inter squad real quick? Like, just something real quick, like a couple innings, 4 innings. Well, I was at shortstop, and I went to cover somebody stealing. And whenever I did, it was like a ball down really low, and I went down for it, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna get down on the ground, put my glove in front of the base, so that's where she has to slide. Well, whenever I did, the third baseman was running back because the girl was trying to fake a bunt. Mm-hmm. She ran back, tripped the runner fell on top of my back, and I had herniated 2 discs in my back. So I was like, all right, guys, like, I really can't move. I'm in a lot of pain. Like, what is going on?
This isn't good right now.
So I kind of took a break after that and was just kind of over it. And this actually sucks for Lindsay, but shout out to her. Then the very next day, she was, like I said, a stud pitcher. She ended up breaking her wrist at the official practice.
So it's you're losing two people.
It was a mess. But she ended up coming back and doing really, really well. But yeah, once I got hurt at Cal, I was just kind of over being there. My emotional state was very rocky.
Now, Grant, I'm going to stop you there because, again, there is a rumor that needs to be dismissed. There is a man who recruited 3 of the people in this room. One of them has already told us that that's not true.
Yes.
So, you are apparently and again, rest in peace. He'll bother me for a month now because I made fun of him again. But
no, I hope he bothers me. I miss that guy.
But, so did Chuck have anything to do with you coming to Bethany?
So,
this might be a yes. This is kind of leaning towards a...
No, as much as I want to say yes, it's really a no. It's not, and honestly, the person that recruited me, as silly as it sounds, is Cassie. Like, whenever she came here, I was like...
Well, and her mom and dad.
Oh,
I'm sure that there was no... Yeah. I'm sure they were pretty heavy recruiters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Whenever, I think it was... I don't even know if I had been, like, officially recruited onto Bethany softball team at the time, but it was the summer before I decided to go to Bethany.
Mm-hmm.
Cass's mom was, I don't know if it was maybe Sammy's summer ball team or somebody's summer ball team, and they were down a couple girls, and it was like 18 and up. So she was like, "You guys want to go play?" It was a Sunday, and they just had a couple games, and we were like,
"Sure."
Well, yeah, we got to do it now.
And boss came.
Yeah, better now than never. So I'm there. Chuck shows up. I'm like, oh, all right, cool. Like, me and Chuck, he's,
Chuck.
being the recruiter that he is. And,
I can't say anything to you, but you're one hell of a ball player. Sorry, I just had this, I had this mental image of him just.
You can just see it happening. So then Boz shows up, and I'm like, okay, I remember hearing a lot of stories about Boz, and I know that she's really intimidating, but she came to play, so, like, I'm here, I'm going to meet her, and, like, this is kind of cool. So we get there, and I was like, "Hey, boss, I'm Ashley." She's like, "Hey, what's up?" And everything was like cool from there on out, which I figured it would be. But that was our first time officially playing together until we came to Bethany. But that was, what was that? The year of 15. That would
We don't have to do all that.
I'm not gonna expose.
Yeah, we don't need to go back to all the numbers and.
But Chuck was there, so
he was. So this is a little bit better of a story than
he relayed the message of how I had played back to Jam. So I guess
he did. In a way, he recruited you unofficially, but
yeah, he did.
So you make the decision to come to Bethany.
Yeah.
First experience, first thoughts. Let's go. If you can pull that back.
At first, I was like, okay, this place was really, like, I had gotten one tour, and I was like, well, I already know this place is small, but let's see how this goes.
It's pretty small.
When I realized, it was like, I don't know, my 3rd day class, I said, you really don't realize how small this place is. You see everyone almost every single day out on campus, like, no matter if it's a buddy of yours or if it's just some rando, like, you know who they're, you see their face every day, you know who they are. And I was like, all right, well, see that this place is small, and I'm going to keep to myself for now because I don't know what's going to happen from here on out, But definitely knowing Cassie, and then Jasmine Fuqua, she went in Cassie's class. But she didn't really recruit me too much, but she was definitely excited whenever I came.
When you have Boz, because there's that.
Yeah.
Now you have that connection.
Yeah,
there.
so that was
and
really
then
nice.
you two are going to recruit the 3rd person that's in the room now.
Yeah.
I think she goes down the similar path to you.
Yeah.
Ends up at Cal and then comes here and dogs some people in basketball.
Yes. Yeah, I could never do that in my life, but.
My basketball days it's called old man ball. I stay outside the perimeter. We don't go anywhere near the.
Noon hoops, you mean?
Yes. I can at least move a little bit better than some of the noon hoopers. No disrespect to any of those guys.
Yeah, for sure.
But like they have a 2 turnover rule.
Yeah.
It's one, you don't get the first. If you get a steal, just drop the ball because they get another chance. No, I can't do all that.
Yeah, I don't like that.
We gotta play.
You gotta play real.
So. I guess the last story we'll touch on before. Actually, you know what? I think that's a good place to pause because we're going to go into the Chop and Fran and this being so scary. Because I never got that
Okay.
vibe. I was here for you when
Yeah,
you got it,
I
so I
know.
never got that vibe.
Me either.
But this is the point where we're going to send it to KJ, what Maple Shades Outdoors. Would you like to picture
I would.
yours
I'm
first,
gonna
and then
do
I'll
this. I know that you can see this with the lights. It's a little holographic forward attire. And if you are interested, and I'm so serious, guys, go on the website. It is forward.clothing, www.forward.clothing. But you can go on, you can customize almost all of your stuff. And if you use a promo code, Ashley15, it'll get you 15% off.
And I have 3 of them shirts. They're very nice. They're very good.
Yes.
Shout out to Scarborough.
Yep, he has a lot of masks, a lot of different, sweatshirts, pants, anything you can really think of, he got. So, yep.
So from one pitch to the next pitch, one of our sponsors who's been here from the beginning, Maple Shades Outdoors, KJ Kieran Dunn, who actually, congratulations, KJ, on the engagement. Since we all just saw that. Congratulations.
I miss you, buddy.
Make sure you get onto YouTube, hit subscribe, get on Instagram, hit follow on again, it's Maple Shades Outdoors. But without further ado, go ahead, KJ.
What's going on, everybody? This is Kieran Dunn, founder of Maple Shade Outdoors. You're currently watching Dingo Talk with my man Carlo. If you're anything like me and you're really enjoying this content, you should like and subscribe his page. While you're on YouTube, you should probably just head over and like and subscribe Maple Shade Outdoors. Check out our page, enjoy some videos, some outdoor content. You might as well hop on Instagram, Facebook, follow us, Maple Shade Outdoors. Now that's enough about me. I'm trying to get back and watch the rest of Dingo Talk, so I'll talk to y'all later.
Thanks, KJ. What's going on, Chuckleheads? I am Carlo Guadagnino. This is the Dingo Talk Alumni Tour. My guest, of course, is Ashley Narigon, class of 2019. Jesus, that like really was hard. I don't know why it was so hard. I did it perfectly fine in the first one. It was, let me take a breath.
Everybody relax.
All right, so we picked up, we left off, one of those. We're picking up, we left off with Ashley telling us about her coming to Bethany, realizing how small the campus is and whatnot. We got through Chuck. We have maybe some interruptions
Hopefully
here, because I know who's here, so. Yeah. But I did leave everybody off on this. So Chop and Fran have been on the show. They were on the show in 2020.
Yeah.
And there was, we say that like it was a year. They were on the show.
Like it was only 4
They were in
years
the show in 2020. And Fran talks about a team. It was like I don't know if it was a team meeting. It was in somebody's room in CB.
So
You and this one over here got cutoffs on. There's tattoos being shown, and Fran, in her own words, says, "I contemplated quitting softball because I thought I was in the wrong place." So, and Chop was very similar in the sense of when I first got to Bethany, I was really intimidated because these girls got tattoos and they're like way bigger than me, blah blah blah. So I just never got that vibe from you, and I think you should have time. Just because you have tattoos doesn't make you like a scary person.
I was gonna say, normally whenever, like, if I'm dressed like this, you can't tell that I have any. And a lot of people, like, if they see me, I don't know, out in the summer, they don't really know me that well. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know you had that many tattoos. Like, how many do you have? That's crazy." And I'm like, yeah. But like, sometimes whenever people make those comments, it's like, I kind of see where they're coming from. Like, my personality doesn't really give off the type that, like, is somebody that has a bunch of tattoos. But, like, at the same time, I kind of do.
Yeah, I think you're kind of just go with it.
Yeah. But, shout out to Colin because he got me a tattoo for Christmas. So that's awesome.
The Moose.
He's the best.
But
yeah.
So there's another part of that I wanted to get into, because in my time at Bethany, and we overlap for a period there.
Yeah.
There's just this thing about, and I haven't had as many baseball players on. The softball team has really embraced the show.
Yeah.
And you guys really, you didn't really go anywhere without each other. There was always like 6 or 7 of you, and you knew who it was.
Yeah.
Kind of talk about what it was like to be a part of some of those teams. If there's anything you want to share about Jan, because it's Jan.
Oh yeah, hashtag Jan's kids. But yeah, whenever I had first thought about coming to school and Cassie had relayed the message of me being interested, of course Jan, hopped right on it, and she was like, "Okay, yeah, like, let's do this." So she had called me like, I don't know, 2 days later. She's like, hey, I set up a tour and this and that for you. Come on in whenever. So I walked down into admissions down there, and there's just, hello, welcome Ashley Narigon, blah, blah, blah.
On the chalkboard.
Yeah, like
yeah.
future class of, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my goodness, like, okay, like
We're here.
We are here now. Like this is real. I need to tell her today, like if I really want to, you know, come or not. Because this was even late, like I don't even want to. I want to say like July.
So their class for the next season is kind of already built. You order the maybe a last piece or an additional piece.
Yeah. So I was like, I mean, this could be really cool, and this could be like I guess beneficial to the team, but like it could also just be for numbers. So I wasn't really sure, but I also was really excited. I was like, a lot of my friends go here. This could be fun. So I came, and you know, obviously it was very fun. But yeah, it was. I'm known as kind of like an outgoing extrovert person, but coming here and you know really only knowing 2 people really well, and going to any new school, you know, is difficult. But you know, knowing them definitely gave me comfort. But once, you know, you're kind of on your team and you meet everybody, even if you're spring sport, like we said earlier, in the fall, you guys get together, and even if it's just for a couple meetings or for a workout or 2, you still get to know one another, and like you kind of get to bond with them. So it was kind of like, at the time, all kind of like first year and second year bonded really well, and then the upperclassmen bonded really well. But there were times where, and I'm just going to say it now because we're all graduated, and nobody on the softball team now still really knows of what a team meeting really is. So a team meeting is whenever everyone from the softball team goes to the seniors room, and you just get really drunk, and you're not allowed to leave till you're just really drunk. And that's the way it went. I know, yeah, it just exposed us, but hey.
No, not really. It's a bonding experience.
It's TBT, because that doesn't happen. I know it sounds like really stupid, really silly, but it doesn't happen anymore. I don't know, it's different, it's a whole different
generation. It's just it's a generational thing. They don't drink like they used to, is the problem. Nobody does. I mean, there's other things, I guess. Yeah. Apparently. Yeah. That's what I hear on the news.
Yeah, lots of that.
Lots of that.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I mean, you know, clicking with your
team. See, it's not as easy.
Yeah, it's not. Clicking with your team immediately and having those, you know, even if it is, you know, 4 or 5 people at the time, you still have those 4 or 5 people. So it is cool, and that kind of leads you into, like Cassie, she was already here a year before me, so she knew a lot of people. So she introduced me. Yeah. So anywhere she would go, I was like a little lost puppy. I was like, can I come? Like, I don't know anybody. Can I come?
So, and I probably should have done this at the beginning of the show, but you came to Bethany. We finally got to this point of where we're now here at Bethany.
Yeah.
We're going to go into the comps question next. So, what did you go to school for? What was the academic side of bringing you to Bethany?
Business management.
And that led to a phenomenal amount of fun in comps, I'm sure.
Yes. So, going into comps, I'll be honest, I very rarely studied for things. Like, seriously. I know a lot of people are like, yeah, no, like, I never study. But, like, deep down, they know, like, I studied a couple things.
Look who you're talking to. Yeah. Come on. Studying wasn't at the top of the list.
No,
6 years. Studying wasn't. Going to class wasn't on the list.
No, it was softball and social, you know. And
I'd walk into classrooms and be really shocked that it was a quiz day, and it's in the syllabus that it was a quiz. And I didn't know that was. I thought it was a joke. It
wasn't a thing. It was, you know, we thought it was maybe reasonable, and we switched it around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It was just business management, and I will say that.
So you studied for comps, though. That was the test that,
that kind of was my, you know, it's either this or I just keep going to school and keep trying till I pass. Like, it was, which, you know, I was like, if it comes to that, it comes to that.
It's going to be a good time. We're going to have a good time doing it.
I'm going to celebrate either way. No, but, you know, I was super nervous, and knowing that people I was studying with had studied a lot before, I was like, I'm just going to try to pick up on some of these habits, because, like, I really don't know a lot of good study tricks. Mm-hmm. So every single thing, if it was 10 of us in the room and we were working on, you know, one thing, or a couple people were working on another, like anything that they were doing, I was trying to do just to try to learn my own way and try to teach it to myself.
No
Which,
cards,
I mean,
the big shit on the
oh,
board,
yeah,
all
everything.
the, yeah.
You had anything, PowerPoints, notes in your phone, reminders in your phone that pop up just to, this is this means this, just to, remind you throughout the day to keep your brain fresh.
I mean, I can tell you, Nadim and I sat for comps and we recorded ourselves talking. And that was
just to listen back.
we would go hang out on the back deck of Alpha Sig,
Mhm.
and everybody else would be in conversation. We'd be sitting there with headphones on,
Yeah.
listening to ourselves repeat. Just
Yeah.
it didn't work. I
No
mean,
way.
it was way easier to write and study than it was
Yeah.
to listen to yourself talk.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we tried.
Yeah, I feel you. There, I mean, like we said earlier, there's different ways, but I had actually tried a couple times too, in Hansowitz's classes. Obviously, everybody knows they're difficult, but but we got a little sound over here from one of our
One of the movies. She's not allowed to have a name. She's not on the schedule,
Yeah.
so we're not allowed to.
one of our guests. But
She's already been on the show.
yeah, she's cool. We can say Cass. But with him, I was like, all right, maybe if I record myself doing a problem up down in the bottom of the library on one of the big boards, I was like, if I record myself doing this and just watch it over and over and over again on how it's done, it'll just. If anybody's seen the meme of the little boy in the classroom, he's like
Where he's
doing
pulling
this with the
yes.
knowledge. I was like that. I was like, please just insert into my brain.
Stay there for where I need you.
Yeah. I mean, I did study a lot, and like anybody that's taken comps knows, you study till you can't anymore, and then you go in and you do it. But the one good thing is you go in, and all the professors that you're going in with, none of them want you to fail.
No, and if you're even in the anywhere near that, they're going to do everything in their power to get you to that point.
And I was gonna say I'll be honest, throughout my entire, comp time, which I was the last one, and this was the first year that they were doing the evening type ones or later afternoon. I was the last one to go that day, and in there I had Ramji, Fletch, and Verge, and then halfway through, just some random man just
Eric Sprouse.
knocks on the door.
Has to be Eric Sprouse.
And this sounds
Goatee,
bad.
Tall guy, bald.
He had a hat on. I'm not sure.
Like a weird hat.
No,
or
like a ball cap.
Oh, that wouldn't.
It wasn't something that I was really expecting at all. And Ramji says, "Oh, come on in," and I was like,
Wait, who are you? Who's this guy?
I was
What
like,
do you mean?
okay.
Never seen this guy in my life. He's gonna ask me a question.
So I'm not joking you. It was not 30 seconds after Ramji's like, one thing that you missed on the test is, this problem, and she explained it to me, and she was like, I want you to go through the problem for me just so I can see what you had done wrong, so I can show you what to do right. So then I turned my back, I'm writing on the board, doing this and that, and Ramji, it was a word problem, so she was reading it out to me and I was taking notes. This next thing I know, I hear them whispering, and then Verge is like, hey guys, blah 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 blah, and I was like, and then I started getting the nervous sweats, and I was like, oh my god, and I looked at Fletch and I was like just worried eyes, and he said, all right, here's what you did wrong, it wasn't big, this is what you need to do right, blah blah blah. Well, then after that it ended up being smooth sailing. It was cool. We took a bunch of pictures, as everybody knows, like everybody does, and right before I heard a bunch of people outside, obviously, and right before I'd come out, I said to Fletcher, I said, hey, Andy Fletcher, I said, go out and pretend
that you failed.
That I failed. I said, if everybody wants to go out, you can. I said, but I'm just gonna hang back and I'm gonna watch, because I was down in Moreland and I could see, you can see from the glass doors from the steps.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'll just watch to see everybody's reactions. So they walk out, and I'm slowly walking behind them, and I have the biggest grin on my face, and I just see I see Emily Folk's face as the first one, and she's like she's scared out of her mind. Next thing I know, I saw Fletcher and them walk past the couple set of tables. Next thing I know, I was like, I can't wait any longer. I kicked my shoes off, I kicked my heels off, and sprinted out the door, and I was like, yeah! I was so happy.
So, I guess where that leads is, so you passed comps. What are you doing now? She graduated, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. Hanging out with my dog. It's my favorite activity. But shout out to Millie. I almost brought her today, but I didn't. I didn't know if she was going to be a good girl or not. But
we could have made do. I mean, we had the earthquake of a century in Bethany here.
It's
First
true.
time an earthquake's ever hit
Yeah,
Bethany. I'll tell you right now.
It's true.
9 years I've been here, and I've never seen that happen.
What?
She said,
Don't
"What?"
worry about it. You just
hang out.
hang out over there. You're fine.
So you know how you guys see these commercials, you know, Jake from State Farm, and you know, helping out all these guys with all their, you know, cool bundles and, you know, specialty deals for just them. Well, I am actually from State Farm, and I wear khakis. Not always, but sometimes I do.
Do you wear always the red shirt though?
Nah, you can wear whatever you, well, not whatever you want, but you know, this is casual.
All right.
Sometimes I'll wear Steeler gear if we're allowed, but you know.
So what's that
Gotta
like?
represent.
What's it like being?
You know, I'm not selling insurance, so
Are
that is
you
really
an
cool.
adjuster? Or
Right now I'm just a call rep, which I switched from a different job over to this one. So they gave me an option if I wanted to take different tests or licensing tests
Mhm.
to be able to sell insurance, both health and life. And I was like, you know what? It's not like, no offense to you guys, but I just am not interested in that.
Mhm.
Like, I will do anything to help you guys. I'll do whatever. I'll take on whatever tasks you need me to.
But that's just not
Yeah,
mine.
and she was like, "Oh, that's perfectly fine." So she was like, "You know what? We'll put you down as like a call rep and administrative assistant." So I was like, "All right." But I mean, it's nice. It's kind of weird because everybody's so weird with COVID still. We have a couple people in the office that are like super
mask.
yeah, and they like
come into their bios.
Yeah, well,
I got you.
a couple of them actually said whenever I got hired, they're like, bringing in somebody new that's bringing in new germs. Like, I need to stay home. So ever since that I had started, 2 of the older ladies just work from home. So I mean, whatever, that's cool.
Whatever floats your goat.
Yeah.
I guess.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's going. It's
The adult life is not. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just it's a plug. It's a plug and
Yeah.
play and hope.
it
kind of
is. Whenever it's like you know, early, or I should say late fall-ish, kind of early fall-ish sometimes, and then in the spring and summer, I like to do hitting instructions with either teams or just individuals. So I try to keep myself busy. But
You try to keep yourself still involved in the
Yeah.
in the softball side.
oh yeah, whenever I had left here, I was like, you know what? I feel like I still want to play
Mhm.
because whenever I was here, I had a couple injuries that like sat me out part of the season, a couple different seasons. I was like, I still want to play. Like, maybe I could look into this. So like, there were the semi-pros that were like the what was the one that was up at the Wild Things? Who played at the Wild Things? PA Rebellion. Yeah. There was like the PA
Mhm.
Rebellion.
I went to a couple of those games.
Yeah, the Acers and stuff. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna shoot my shot. I sent out a couple videos of myself, a couple emails. I was like, you know, this is what I can do. Are you interested? And I actually heard back from, I don't remember. Oh, it was the Akron Racers.
Okay.
I heard back from the Chicago Bandits and the Akron Racers, and they were like, if you can fly out this Friday or Saturday, like, you can do it. And I was like, I can't afford that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I mean, that'd be cool to try out, even if, you know, I didn't make it. I could still say I tried out.
But that's a heck of a thing to be flying. I mean, that's a 3-hour drive. I'd rather get in a car and,
Yeah.
and shoot across Ohio than I would.
Yeah.
Like,
But I was like, you know what? I don't know if I can afford all that. So, I mean, timing, I guess, just wasn't right. So.
one, but you've
Into
kept
it.
yourself involved. Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
for that, Cassie. But you've kept yourself involved, and it's right in my ear. What do you mean?
She's like,
You're sitting right there. All right. You know what? This is her time, not you. Sheesh.
I didn't make it.
So, on the playing aspect, so
Oh
you played Division II softball, or you were involved in Division II softball. You
Yeah,
played
for a little
at the
bit,
Division III level.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask you 2 questions.
Sure.
Why Division III? If you're talking to somebody right now that's looking at even if it's not Bethany, they're looking at
Yeah.
a small school. Why Division III?
You are, and you have to look at this as a positive thing. You are much more well known to, you know, your professors, to your coaches, whoever it may be. Like, you have more one-on-one time with these people because it is a smaller school. And some D3 schools aren't even really that tiny.
No,
like,
they're
you know what I
big.
mean? And it's the same type of, if you're into sports and you want to go play a sport in college, it is still super competitive. Like, don't knock it, because it's just a different division, and these people chose D3 for a specific reason. Like, whenever I had left Cal, I was like, I still want to go to school. I don't really know where, and I kind of want to play softball. And like, after having this long of time off, like, who's gonna really want me?
Yeah.
So at the time, I was like, well, I'll just
coming
take what
off
I
an
can get.
injury.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of factors that come into that.
Yeah. So I was like, I'll take what I can get. But it was honestly really cool, because Cal U had a lot more students, but it was like their dynamic wasn't really the same. It was with softball in the school. It was very different.
Well, it might have just been your team and whatever your major was, not.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wasn't even always a business major. I was a secondary ed major whenever I went to Cal.
We all start in education. We figure it out.
Well,
some of us figure out that it's good. Some of us figure out that.
I'm going to tell you exactly why I decided not to, and you're going to agree with me. I wasn't substitute teaching. It was the one before that. It was like observations.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Connellsville. That's where I was sent, was to Connellsville.
I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with Connellsville. I'm sure there's a lot of positives out there.
Yeah, I mean, I bet there is, but whenever you go in as somebody that's trying to become a teacher, and these like 11th grade boys are like, "Damn, girl," blah, 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 and I'm like, "Oh my."
See, I was
write down your English homework now. Do your spelling words.
I was in your boat, but I was told that you can't grade papers in a red pen because it's detrimental to children's psyches. And being the stand-up person that I am, I brought all of my papers in from that point from college and put them on the teacher's desk and said, I really appreciate if these grades got changed, because I think I was affected psychologically.
It's a little
Dr. Thaker called me into a meeting, and she didn't kick me out of the department, but she definitely looked at me and said, "You're not going to be an education major anymore, huh?" And I went, I guess not, because you're kind of in charge of that. So, and then calm happened, and now here we are. But so you kind of started to answer the last question. Why Bethany? Specifically this place.
As corny as it may sound at the time, Cassie.
But now that you've gone through it, you graduated from here.
It, obviously, like, if I was really that unhappy, I could have left.
Mm-hmm.
But
many people do.
Yeah.
Many people do.
Yeah. It really wasn't easy at all. My first year with softball was definitely really, really terrible. And it wasn't because of anyone but myself.
You just enjoyed Bethany a little too much.
Oh, well, not even that. I don't know. I think it was like, it was nerves, and I just felt way too much pressure at the time for some reason. Cause like, everybody knows, like,
when you come into a good team, it's not there's the pressure there. That's not a slouch team that you were coming into.
Right.
And the program as a whole is not,
right.
Jan being who Jan is, that was.
Yep. Yeah. So, and they were who they were because of Jan.
Not just because of Jan, but.
Yeah.
But Jan definitely is the cornerstone of the program.
Yeah.
I guess we should say.
We had gone down to spring break training, and coach was like, like every coach does, they throw everybody in, see what they can do. Coach was like, you know what? I'm just going to have you, I think I just DH'd for the first day. And she was like, we'll see how you do. Oh my gosh. It was as if I had ants in my pants when I was at the plate. I'm telling you, anything that came my way, I was swinging at it because I was like, I need to impress coach.
Have to have a hit.
I have to have a hit. And if I don't, I'm going to get pulled out. Carlo, I'm serious. Maybe my freshman year in Florida had one hit.
3. I was the assistant sports information director at the time.
Dude, yeah.
Because this one over here struggled against like the number 3 team in the country and was like all upset. Because Jan called Jared Plate, and Jared Plate looks at me and goes, "Well, you got to put those stats in." And I went, "She did that bad. None of them did that bad. It's the number 3 team in the fucking country." Like,
bro. Yeah.
Not to knock Bethany.
Right, no.
That's the number 3 team in the country. There's a difference of play.
Yes. Oh,
So,
1,000%.
and that's
gosh,
what that
the
spring
caliber
does.
is different.
You guys going down to Florida and going to, now I think they go to Virginia, and I think they have a couple other stops or whatever. But the fact that you go down there and you play against the talent, it's the same thing for the baseball team.
Yeah.
You're playing talent that, like, W&J's also goes to this, W&J goes to the same place. They're also ranked in the top 30 in the country in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Thomas More, Bethany, W&J, I think St. Vincent for a couple of those years. You and I talked about this. There's a couple of those. The PAC wasn't a slouch conference because one of those three teams was getting an automatic bid. Bethany, W&J, and Thomas More. Yeah. But there was also a possibility that one of those teams that didn't get the automatic bid was going to go in.
Right.
So that's where your pressure came from.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll admit that I probably struck out every bit of, every single time, but those 3 times that he had just mentioned. Seriously. And I
have to do a little bit of research before
I don't know. Yeah, of course. I don't know if it was the nerves or what, the pressure, whatever it was that I was putting on myself. I was just not in a good position at all. And at that time, I was like really frustrated with myself. And as a player or as an athlete, somebody that's competitive, whenever you get frustrated,
it makes it worse because now you're forced.
And then whenever it's worse, you're like, all right, like seriously, take me out. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do this anymore.
You contemplate. There's always there's the quitting. There's have I run my course and this is just done?
Yep. That ran.
And it's just that's that mental side that we don't like to talk about with athletes because they're not supposed to have those things. Yeah. Everybody else is allowed to have them. Athletes not allowed to have those bad days. Well,
and that's the crazy part because not to be biased, but
there's a lot more scrutiny on top of especially let's go the academic route. So you have your college, you have your professors that, and I'm not saying that for any 1 or 2 examples anywhere, it happens at every school. You got a professor that maybe wasn't an athlete, doesn't really care about sports.
Right.
They don't understand your struggle as an athlete, a student athlete who's also gonna. I'll be in class, but I also have practice, and I might be leaving and going to a game, and I might have to be at this or that.
I might not be here the one day because of a game.
You have the coaches that expect the top out of you.
Yeah.
You have your parents, you have yourself, you have your friends that are coming to the games, and there's a lot of that we don't talk about with the student athletes. And that might be another time to bring you back. We'll bring you back.
Oh yeah,
we'll do a whole.
Dude, I got a lot of things on my mental I could just spill out for you.
Well, we've come to that point. I want to thank you for being on the show. I figure you could promote our friend Scarborough one more time.
Yes, Scarborough. You better send that video, buddy. Here we go. Double promo for you. Do I have it right? There we go. Forward. I'm going to do a little this so you can see that it's shimmery. But he had just updated the website for my bud over here at Cass. She just got a good deal. She just got a crew neck like mine that's holographic lettering for 15% off because she used Ashley15. Forward.clothing. Just go on their website. Also, sponsor us. Also, KJ, I love you.
And you also, we're going to send it to our last sponsor, the Leonardo DiCaprio Bethany. He was on the show last week. Mr. Harry Chambers, he's got everything that if you're in Bethany, if you've ever been in Bethany, you've stopped there, you've had a breakfast sandwich. If you haven't, you should. You didn't come to Bethany if you didn't go to Chambers and get a breakfast sandwich. Or biscuits and gravy now, or the dollar. He is also, I learned it from last week, original dollar menu. 1917, these people have been open. I don't think McDonald's was running a dollar menu back then.
No.
Original dollar menu, it lives here in Bethany.
Yep, it's here. But I will say also, shout out to Harry since we're shouting him out. If you go in there and say you want an Ashley special for a breakfast sandwich, that's my special. He named it after me. Shout out to him. He's the best.
I appreciate you being on the show. Obviously, this will come out on Friday. So I don't normally do that, but we've done everything else abnormal this episode, so we might as well
whatever else. We
keep throwing them in
there. We had a couple burps. We had a couple things here.
I'm telling you, I have never been in Bethany and seen an earthquake happen. So I'm pretty happy that I was here.
I was gonna say I'm really happy we survived.
You know what? Thank you to everybody that was here. Cassie's still very confused at what's going on right now, and that's a perfect time to send it to Harry Chambers. So Harry, take it away.
You've just watched another exciting episode of Dingo Talk with your host Carlo Guadagnino, recorded live in his secret lair in Bethany, West Virginia. sponsored by Chambers General Store, the longest running general store in the state of West Virginia. Stop by and see us. We're here Monday through Friday, 6 a to 5 p, and on Saturday, 6 a to noon. Get a breakfast sandwich or our new sausage, biscuits, and gravy. Coming soon, another round of Bethany Mushroom Capital of the World t-shirts and new Chambers General Store. If we don't have it, you don't need it t-shirts.